Okay, so it's 1 o'clock, so let's get started today. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our employer portal training session on retirements and terminations. My name is Bill Hurley. I'm a team lead with Employer Services, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. So now I'll hand it over to Sandy to begin today's session.
Thank you, Bill. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second training session on the Employer Portal. My name is Sandy Cook, and I'm the Manager of Employer Services. Deepak Patel and Christine Wachira, pension analysts with the Employer Services team, and Marcia Patterson and Jack Chemiagowski, who are pension analysts with our Quality Assurance team, will be assisting us with your questions today. We are very excited to share some of the other features that are part of our Phase 1 rollout of the Employer Portal with you. We will be walking you through some examples from our testing environment. If you have had any issues with the portal, please contact your employer PA. We will start by going over the termination of employment process, followed by the pension application process. We will then have a live demo and answer any questions you may have. Before I turn it over to Christine, let's take a look at our portal timeline. We are very excited that the Employer Portal went live on January 4th. Many of you have signed in and have started processing transactions. Training has been provided for the enrollment process, and we've provided an overview of the member portal. We will be providing you with more information on the employer and member portals over the next several weeks. We are at the January 14th training session on the timeline, and here you can see the next steps. On January 28th, we'll be holding a webinar to answer any questions you may have on the portals and get your feedback on your portal experience. Here is the timeline for the member portal. The member portal will go live on January 25th with access provided to our employer contacts and trustees. First, we will roll it out to all employers in February on a staggered basis, with more employers getting access each week throughout the month of February. At the same time, your employer PA will send you a sample email that we would like you to send to your members to let them know that this valuable tool is going to be available to them. We will also send out another communication to members to encourage them to sign on and elect to have their statement provided via the member portal and not sent by mail. I will now pass it over to Christine, who will walk you through the termination application process in the portal.
Thanks, Sandy. I will now walk you through the termination of employment process using the portal. By submitting the termination via the portal, you can avoid having to complete and send the termination form to the plan. The information that is submitted via the portal will be sent directly to the pension administration system for processing. To start a termination, select the Termination of Employment link on the left-hand sidebar. The first step is to search for the member you wish to terminate. You can search using their SIN, member ID, first name, or last name. Once you click on Submit, the results will be displayed in the search results box below. If you search by last name or first name, you will get a list of potential matches to select from. Choose a desired member to begin the process. Upon selecting the member, you will be directed to the Termination of Employment page, where you can begin the process. The portal will display the information that we currently have on file for the member. This includes their first name, middle initial, last name, social insurance number, and date of birth. Please verify that you are terminating the correct person before proceeding. The portal will also display our current contact information for the member. You will be prompted to verify the contact information or update it if required. The address fields can be edited. While making changes, if any information is entered incorrectly, the portal will automatically display a red error notification. The next step would be to provide the members' earnings and contributions information. For DB Plus members, you will be required to update the member's last day worked, date of termination, current eligible earnings, employer contributions, employee contributions, and PA. These fields are all similar to what appears on our paper termination forms. Note that the portal has two new fields, from and to dates. They represent the range dates for the earnings provided and must be in the same calendar year. The from date would be the later of the member's enrollment date or January 1st or the end date of any previously reported in-year events. The to date would be the member's last date of earnings. Typically, the to date should match the last day worked. You will then select yes or no if the DCT has been submitted for the previous year. If you selected no because the DCT has not been submitted, a drop-down menu will appear. You will be prompted to enter the previous year's earnings and contributions information. For DB Prime members, there are a few additional entry fields. You will be prompted to enter the start date of the pay period for the first pay of the year. Note that this can be a prior calendar year date. However, the earliest the from date can be is still January 1st of the current year. You will also be prompted to enter the member's pensionable service, regular contributory earnings, basic contributions, annual salary rate, and pension adjustment. The lump sum earnings, vacation earnings, and retroactive pay fields are optional. You may leave them at 0 if they do not apply. Similarly, you'll be asked if the previous year's DCT has been submitted. If you select no, a drop-down menu will appear prompting you to enter the member's previous year earnings and contributions information. Next, you will be asked if the member currently has any purchases in process. In this section, you would indicate if the member is going to work at another CAT employer. If you are aware of their future employment, please select yes or no. If you are unsure, please select unknown. Under the Employer Authorization section, please input your name as the employer HR representative and the current date. Here, you can assign the task to another user. This is not mandatory and will default to you if it's not completed. If you choose to assign the transaction to another user, select the individual from the drop-down list. If you would like the assigned individual to view and approve the application prior to submission, please select their name and press Save. Do not click Send to CAT until you are ready to submit the form for processing. Once a member of your team assigns an application to you, it will appear on your message center. The message can be seen in the search results box. As previously mentioned, notification features are disabled at this time. Please note that for the time being, you will have to check your message center for any assigned processes. The message can also be seen in the Transactions in Process section of the dashboard. You can save the termination at any time by clicking on Save. You will see a pop-up box indicating that the new termination process was successfully saved. If the save is not successful, the pop-up box will indicate that it has failed. Once you save, you will be directed back to the dashboard. You will find the transaction in the Transaction in Process section. Please note that the Recent Activity section will display your recent transactions, while the Transactions in Process section will display all the transactions made within your organization. You can retrieve the termination application you saved from the Transactions and Process section. When you are ready to send your termination application to the plan via the portal, you will need to validate the application by clicking on the Validate button. If there are no errors or warnings, you will see a message that the validation has passed and you can now submit to the plan. If you are not able to validate because of an error, you will be directed to where the issues that need to be corrected. You'll be directed to where there are issues that need to be corrected on the application. You may also receive a warning validation advising you to review specific information prior to submission. Please note that you may still submit an application with warnings, but you will not be able to submit an application with errors. When you are ready to send the termination, click on the Send to CAT button, accept the terms of use, and click OK. After you have clicked OK, you will see the message that the termination was sent to CAT, and the portal will provide you with a tracking number. You can click Done, or if you require a copy of the termination form for your files, you can click on Download or Print. If you click on Download/Print, you will see a PDF version of the termination form with the information that you have provided in the portal. This is only for your records. You will not be required to send it to the plan. You will now see in your dashboard that you have sent the termination to CAT. A record will appear in your Transactions Sent to CAT section and in your Recent Activity section. I will now pass it over to Deepak.
Thanks, Christine. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's review the pension application process using the portal. By submitting the pension application via the portal, you can avoid having to complete and send the pension application form to the plan. The retirement information that is submitted via the portal will be sent directly to the pension administration system for processing. We will walk you through the current pension application process, but want to bring to your attention the features we will be rolling out in future phases. We are developing a process where the member can initiate the pension application through the member portal. At this point, the member would review and update their information if required and assign to the employer for further processing. You would then complete the employer required fields and send to the plan. We will now review the current process that you will need to follow to submit a pension application. To start a retirement, select the pension application link on the left-hand sidebar. You can search for the member who is retiring by using either their SIN, member ID, first name, or last name. After clicking Submit, you will see the search results below. You will then click on the applicable member. After selecting the member, you will be taken to the pension application page. This is where you will begin the retirement process. The first section is the member's employment information. You will provide the last day worked and the retirement date. Once you have entered the required information, you should see the fields highlighted green with a check mark. If you miss any required fields, the field will be highlighted red with a message stating what is required. The next step will be to review the member's personal information to confirm this is the member who is retiring. If you notice the information is incorrect, for example, the date of birth, you can continue to send the proof of age to CAT via SDoc, and we will update it based on that documentation. Employers will have the ability to send documents via the portal in a future phase. Another option is to have the member update the information in the member portal or by submitting a member change of information form. The portal will also display the member's contact information. You will be prompted to verify the contact information or update if required. As previously mentioned, in a future phase of the member portal, members will have the ability to initiate the pension application process and confirm this information before assigning to the employer for approval. While making changes, if any information is entered incorrectly, the portal will automatically display a red error notification. Here's an example of an address with an incorrect postal code. As you can see, the postal code field is highlighted red with a message stating that the format is incorrect. After scrolling down further, the next section for a member enrolled in the DB Prime plan design is the earnings, contributions, and pensionable service fields. You will provide the necessary information for the current year. Please note the new fields from and to dates. These fields must be in the same calendar year. The from date would be the later of either the member's enrollment date, January 1st, or any previously reported in-year event end date. The to date would be the last day worked. You will then select yes or no if the DCT has been submitted for the previous year. If no is selected because the DCT has not been submitted for the previous year, you will provide the earnings, contributions, and service information for the prior year. The earnings and contributions page for members participating in the DB Plus plan design will have similar fields to DB Prime members. For DB Plus members, there will be no pensionable service fields. You will then select yes or no if the DCT has been submitted for the previous year. If no is selected because the DCT has not been submitted for the previous year, you will provide the earnings and contributions for the prior year. In the next section, you would indicate if the member has a pension service purchase in process with CAT. In this section, you would indicate if the member is currently employed with another CAT employer, and if the member is already a member with CAT. If you do not know if the member is currently employed or already a member of the plan, choose Unknown. If you choose to assign the transaction to another user, select the individual from the drop-down list. If you would like the assigned individual to view and approve the pension application prior to submission, please select their name and press Save. If you are not ready to send to CAT and want to save the form, click Save. If you are ready to send, click Validate, and if there are no errors, then click Send to CAT. You can save the pension application at any time by clicking on Save. You will see a pop-up box indicating that the new pension application was successfully saved. If the save is not successful, the pop-up box will indicate that it has failed. After you have successfully saved the pension application, you will be automatically redirected to the dashboard of the portal, and you will be able to see the pension application in your recent activity section and in the transactions in process section. You can also retrieve the pension application you saved from the transactions in process section. When you are ready to send your pension application to the plan via the portal, you will need to validate the pension application by clicking on the Validate button. If there are no errors or warnings, you will see the message that the validation has passed, and you can now submit to the plan. If you are not able to validate, you will be directed to where there are any issues with the pension application that needs to be corrected. In this example, there is a warning found. You should review the fields with warnings and confirm they are correct. If correct, you can continue to submit with the warning to CAT. In this example, there is an error found. You will be directed to the section containing the error in the pension application, which needs to be corrected. You will not be able to submit until the error has been corrected. When you are ready to send the pension application, click on the Send to CAT button and accept the terms of use and click OK. After you've clicked OK, you will see the message that the pension application was sent to CAT and the portal will provide you with a tracking ID. You can click Done, or if you require a copy of the pension application form for your files, you can click on Download Print. If you click Download Print, you will see a PDF version of the pension application with the information you provided in the portal. This is not required to be sent to the plan. You will now see in your dashboard the pension application that you sent to CAT in the Transactions Sent to CAT section and in your Recent Activity section. I will now pass it over to Marcia for a live demo.
Thank you, Deepak. I will now start with the termination of employment process. Once you have signed in to the portal, you will be directed to the dashboard. You will click on the termination of employment to start. To search for the member, you can enter either the member's social insurance number, member ID, first name, last name, or any combination of those. For this demonstration, I will enter the social insurance number. Click on Submit and the results will be displayed below. Click on the member record to open the file. You are now in the Termination of Employment page to start the process. We'll begin with the member personal information. This is where you confirm that you're processing the correct member. Please note that you are not able to make any changes in this section. Member contact information. This section displays the member's current contact information. If required, you can update information as the fields are editable. For this demonstration, I will change the address field. The green outline indicates the information has been entered correctly. If a red outline appears around the field, this indicates there is an issue. If there's an issue, a change may be required based on the message displayed below the field. I'm entering an incorrect postal code. A red outline is around the field and a message is displayed that the postal code format is incorrect. I have now made the corrections and now there's a green line outline displayed which indicates the information entered is correct and I can continue. Earnings, contributions, and pensionable service for DB Prime. Enter the start date of the pay period for the first pay of the year, last day worked, and date of termination of employment. Enter the current year information in all the applicable fields for that member. Any fields that are not applicable, you can leave blank or enter 0. When entering the service, contributions, and pension adjustment, you will see the expected value, which is calculated and displayed below the field. If DCT has been submitted for the previous year, click yes and continue to the next section. If not, click no and complete the previous year information. For this demonstration, I will click yes. Purchases in process. Click on the applicable radial button if the member has purchases currently in process. If they do, click yes and complete the information requested. If not, click no and continue. Termination details. Click the applicable radial button if the member is going to work or is currently employed at another participating employer. If they are, click yes and complete the information required. If no or unknown, click no or unknown and continue. And for this demonstration, I will click no to both. We have now entered all the applicable information for the termination process. Employer authorization. In this section, you have the option to assign the task to another user or leave blank. If you assign to another user, enter the user's name in the Assign To field. The names are pre-populated and it's a drop-down menu. Click Save, and a pop-up box will be displayed stating whether or not the transaction was saved successfully. The assignee will be able to view the task in their message center on the navigation bar in the dashboard. And they will see it in the search results right here. On the dashboard, the task can be viewed in the recent activities. The recently saved task can be viewed in the recent activities and transactions in process. To view the saved task, click on the member in the transaction in process and the task will open. Scroll to the employer authorization section. Validate the information entered by clicking on Validate before submitting to CAT. As you can see, there are errors on the page, so we will have to fix the information and review again before submitting to CAT. So unfortunately, we've run into a bit of a glitch, which tends to happen. So let us find another member. Okay. So I'm going back to the dashboard. And clicking on another termination. Okay, so I've decided to pick a different termination and to continue the process. So this is a DB Plus member. As stated before, when you enter the earnings and contributions for DB Plus, you enter the last day worked, and date of termination of employment. Enter the from date, and the to date. Current year eligible earnings, and employer contributions, and the employee contribution. As stated before, if the DCT has been submitted, click on yes. If there are no purchases in process, click on no. And termination details. Is the member going to work at another participating employer? We're saying no. Is the member currently employed at another participating employer? Click on no. We are now at the employer authorization. As stated before, you can assign to another user or leave it blank. So click save here. Transaction has been successfully saved. Click on transactions in process to go back to that task. And validate the information. Here, there are no errors or warnings, so the transaction is ready to be submitted to CAT. Once you're ready to submit to CAT, you can click on the Submit to CAT button. Accept the terms of use and click OK. A pop-up will be displayed if it's submitted successfully, showing a tracking ID number and the option to view and save the paper document for your records. Click on Download and Print to view the document. This is the exact document that is completed from the portal. Click on Done, and now you're directed back to the dashboard, where you can view in recent activities and transactions that have been sent to CAT. I'm now going to begin the pension application process. Click on Pension Application. Once again, you can search for the member by social insurance number, member ID, first name, and last name, or a combination. I will enter the member's social insurance number. Click on Submit, and the results will be displayed below. You are now on the pension application page, and you can start the process. As stated before, the member personal information, member employment information. This is where you enter the last day worked and the retirement date. The last day worked. Member personal information. This once again confirms that you are retiring the correct member. And again, this section cannot be changed. Member contact information. This section displays the member's contact information, and if required, you can change the address as the fields are editable. Earnings, contributions, and pensionable service for DB Prime. Enter the start date of pay period for the first pay of the year. Current year, enter all the applicable fields for that member. From date to date. Enter the pensionable service. Contributory earnings. Basic contributions. Annual rate of salary. And pension adjustment. Once again, if the DTT has been submitted for the previous years, select yes. If not, select no and complete the previous year information. Again, for this demonstration, I'm selecting yes. Purchases in process. Click on the applicable radial button. Yes if there are purchases in process, or no if there are not. Termination details. Click on the applicable radial button if the person is going to work at or is employed at another participating employer. For this example, clicking on no. Employer authorization. In this section, you can assign, you have the option to assign the task to another user or leave blank. Once you have done that, or if you chose to leave blank, you click on save. And a pop-up box will be displayed to advise that the transaction has been successfully saved or not. Click OK, and you're redirected back to the dashboard, where once again, you can view the task in the recent activity section or the transactions in process. To view the task again, click on the record in the transactions in process. Scroll down to the employer authorization section. And once you're ready, click on validate. And once again, a pop-up box is displayed to determine whether or not there are errors or warnings. This validation has passed, so click on OK. Once you're ready to send to CAT, click on the button Send to CAT. Accept the terms of use, click OK. And a pop-up box will be displayed determining whether or not this task has been successfully sent to CAT. This has been submitted to CAT, and again, a tracking ID number is given to you. You can download and print to view and or save the record, save the paper copy for your records. If you click on download and print, paper copy is viewed. And once again, this shows all that you have entered on the portal on the form. Once you're done, you can click on done, and you're redirected back to the dashboard where you can view the task in a recent activity and transactions sent to CAT.
Okay, so thank you everybody for attending our portal training session today. We hope you're excited to start using the portal for your termination and pension application submissions. We'll be having another portal session to answer your questions on both the member and employer portals and gather your feedback during this session. We'll encourage you to reach out to your employer PA and share your feedback and attend this session. That's the session on January 28th, so we can answer your questions on the portal. We'll be posting a recording of this session for anyone that was not able to attend the live session and would like to see what was presented today. This concludes our webinar for today. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you.